love of my life.
Okay, so I get a lot of questions on how to make my lace closure units. So this is the first thing I use, and it's just a mesh cap from my local beauty supply store. And I love this one because it comes with an elastic band, so you don't have to sew an extra elastic band on if you don't want to, but I did, of course. And this is a canvas head from Amazon, and this is the exact size of my head. So this is a size 20-inch canvas head, and yeah, I have a small head, so I don't have to worry about really measuring my head. I just know to align this as if it was on my head, and it's gonna fit perfectly. So I think that that's a good investment, so get you one of those. And I'm just showing you all where I secure my cap just to make sure it's not moving or shifting. And this also helps me to make sure I'm not sewing the cap tight to where it's going to be too small on my head. So these pins make sure everything is secure. And now I'm going back with these stick pins, and I'm just securing this lace closure onto the net. And this is another key to make sure that everything is going to lay flat and seamless. So I put them in the top corners of the lace closure, and then I'm just going to secure them in the back also, just to make sure it's going to be flat. That's the major key of making sure your lace closure unit lays flat with no bows. Okay, so once all of that is pinned down, you just want to pin that hair just to make sure it stays out of the way and it's not getting hooked into your needle and thread. So the first thing I start off is sticking the thread through the lace closure and pulling it through the loop, as you can see what I did. And I would usually stick the needle through the lace closure and then wrap the thread 3 times around the needle, just to make sure it has like a little knot in the beginning to make sure it's secure. But I'm so used to doing this that I didn't even do it in this video, but I did do it towards the end. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, just keep on watching. But this is just very repetitive. You want to make sure that you're sewing the loops close together also, just to make sure that there's no lumps or bubbles in between the closure, and also it would be a flat base. So now I'm going to show you all what I'm talking about. I'm getting towards the end, and you just want to stick it through, pull it through the loop, and for the last one you want to stick it through the closure and wrap it 3 times around your needle and just pull it through, just to make sure it has that little knot and it's not going anywhere. Okay, so then all you want to do is cut that excess thread off, and now I'm showing you all just how closely I sew together, and also how there are no lumps and bumps or bubbles in between anything, and it's laying very flat, which is what you want, and it's not going anywhere. So now I'm going to start sewing on my bundles, and once again, this is the Peerless Hair from AliExpress in their Peruvian straight, and I'm showing you all that I am double wefting the first 2 bundles, or 3, no, but I think it was the first 2 bundles, just to make sure that I can fit as much hair as I can onto this lace closure unit. So what I did here was I started right kind of where that black line is, and I'm going to do it to the other black line that's kind of dividing the cap, and I stick the needle through the weft and wrap it 3 times, then pull through, and it's going to make a little knot just to make sure everything is super secure. And then you don't have to do that for the rest of the hair. You just want to stick the needle under the weft and then just pull through into a loop, and you're just going to do that until you get to the other side. So once you reach the other side of your cap, all you want to do is stick the needle through the weft once again like we did in the beginning, and wrap the thread 3 times around the needle, and I'm going to show you that right now. And that's just going to make sure that that side is secure, so when you flip over the hair, if you are doing the flip over method and not cutting any wefts, it will be flat and it won't kind of shift or anything. So the key is just to make sure that everything is flat and seamless, and now I'm just showing you how I'm flipping it over to the other side and securing it with a pin, making sure that I'm sewing onto a straight line. And all you're going to do is stick the needle through the thread again and pull it into a loop, and you're just going to do that until you get to the other side, and it's just going to be very repetitive. So once you flip over the hair, you just want to make sure that you're sewing the needle under the weft and through the thread to make the loop. And like I said, this is very repetitive, so if you have seen my previous wig making videos, these are the same steps that I follow. And this is also for my beginners who really don't know what they're doing. So if you know these basics, then I will leave a time somewhere in a clip just so you can skip through and see me working on further up on the wig, and you don't have to watch these same steps over and over. But if you are a beginner, this is very detailed, and you can kind of get a general idea of how you're supposed to be, you know, sewing on your tracks. Okay, so now I'm finished with my first bundle, and as you can see, it's pretty straight, and yeah, I sewed that pretty good. But now I'm gonna start sewing towards the top of my hair, and this is when I'm gonna start single wefting. So this was the third bundle. I sewed the second bundle double wefted, and I started sewing the third bundle single wefted, and as you can see, that's pretty much the space that I had, but we're not gonna worry about that because you're not gonna see it. So I'm gonna sew that fourth bundle on. Okay, so for the fourth bundle, we're going to do the exact same thing. Stick it through the cap, stick it through the weft, and make the knot around the needle just to make sure it's secure. So everything is super repetitive, like I'm saying, but you're just doing the exact same thing. You're just doing it single wefted, so you get a general idea of how to do the bottom of your wig. If you don't plan on single wefting it, if you want to and you have the time to single weft 4 bundles, go ahead, go for it. But I didn't have the time this day, and I've been doing good with double wefting the bottom half of my wigs, and they come out still flat and all of that. So that's what I just do for my preference. But if you want to, you know, single weft it, go ahead and do it. But once again, I'm not going to say too much right here. I'm just going to show you all how to do the top of your hair just to make sure it's laying flat and that you have no lumps towards getting closer to your closure, because we don't want lumps or bumps or any of that. So just see how I do this, and then we're gonna go to the next step. Okay, so for that last track before you end your wig making, you want to start sewing that onto the lace closure. So as you can see, I'm not going all the way up into the lace closure, but I'm just sewing onto that white little band that is kind of on the perimeter of the closure. Yeah, that's what I want to say. So you just want to sew your last track onto the lace closure, and it's going to be super flat. You're not going to see any white or net or anything when you lay that closure down. So yeah, that's what you want to do. Okay, so now you're finally done with your wig. Everything after this is super easy. All I'm going to do now is just cut that excess net off of my wig just so you can kind of see the color of the scalp and not black net under. So yeah, and it got a little stuck right there. Don't mind that. Try to prevent sewing onto the canvas head because it can mess up the head. But I'm just showing you how it looks in the inside, and also that elastic band that would come in super clutch. So this is where you want to be careful at. So you just want to hold your hand kind of how I'm holding my wig, and just cut carefully. Make sure you are not cutting too close to where you sewed your closure on because it will unravel. But other than that, once you get all of that done, you can sew another elastic band on. I did so because I wanted more security. But yeah, once that's done, you're done with your wig. And I also want you all to stay tuned for part 2 of this video. I will be showing you all how to lay and apply and slay and style your lace closure unit. So if you're interested in seeing how I do that, stay tuned. But yeah, that's basically all. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you all in part 2. Bye guys. Conditioner. So this is another one that I use if I run out of any of my other Aussie Moist conditioners, and I ran out of this one, so I'm using another one by Aussie.